commissioners meeting, and it is Tuesday, February 19th. Let me get the link. It's 3:05. And put that right there. All right, so what is next? Looks like we have attendance. Attendance looks good. I think we're good on time. Is that, are we canceling Albina?
No, Albina is joining later, but she will be 10 minutes late.
Okay.
Checked in.
Lucy, do you want to help with any of the positions? Timekeeping, storytelling?
Timekeeping.
Okay, cool.
Timekeeping.
All right. So attendance comm groups. Let's see here. So this is going to be the recruitment commission for the Lunar ellipse. I think we just need to add Lucy. Cool. Strikes. Can someone do the strikes?
Yes, I'm going.
I think rankings is me, Zilu, Lucy. I don't remember that.
Wahoo's name should be removed from there, or it will be remain. Wahoo's name.
Whose name?
Wahoo.
Wahoo's name can be removed. Yeah, she's no longer with us anymore for now. At least we do need to send her an email though. I just haven't gotten around to it on my task list. All right, so today is the 15th of the 3rd month. And so we're expecting Albina, right?
Yes.
So we can add Lucy. Lucy was a little late. Zilu was on time. I was on time. Albina, we're not sure yet. We'll see. We'll probably go like, hopefully we can go shorter than later because we have the full moon coming up in just a few hours. So if we could keep this to an hour and a half, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Why does it say, oh, 1.5 hours out? Okay, cool. So this looks good, looks good, looks good. And then the actual lunar apogee. So this is going to be the lunar perigee. So it's 27, its value is 27. And this would be our network equity for now, at least. So we can plug that quickly into our network spreadsheet. I also want to show you one thing here that we have set up for our recruitment commission, but none of the other teams, is the team equity. So we've never gone over team equity before. So I think it might make sense to spend 5 minutes on team equity. I think it's helpful. So
can you share your screen, please?
Oh, I haven't shared my screen yet. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
So I'm a little confused on, oh, this is last month, I see. So no one's updated for last month yet. So let's see here. So for me, so this would actually be switched. So this would be Lunar, Perigee. And for me, Albina. Although wait, Albina hasn't actually come yet, so we're gonna wait on her. Zilu.
Hello.
Oh, Albina, you wanna check in? Perfect time.
Yes.
And you wanna check in?
Yeah, I'm 5.5. Happy to join the session. Been working on accounting a quarterly budget. Thank you.
Cool. So I think you're basically here at 3.2, so I have a little time. So I want to quickly show you guys team equity because we've never actually done team equity before. So every half moon, you do one set of team equity. So you have a separate tab for each team session. So the team right here is the recruitment commission, right? So this is the outreach and recruitment commission. It's the half-year value tracking for the entire team for the recruitment commission. So far we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 recruitment commission sessions over the half year. And so this would be the overall half year recruitment tracking. So if we take our value tracking here, well, no, this wouldn't be network equity. Middle of the night, yes, for me. Everyone else is the day.
Yeah.
So it would actually be, the total hours. So if we do an hour and a half, it would be total hours. So we go to overall half year. We're adding in Lucy, so we'd insert a line for Lucy. And then we go ahead, and this would be the 158-degree Perigee. No, this would be the 36-degree west. 136-degree west.
Yeah.
And it's the Perigee, and the date is 15/3/70. So then here you plug in the hours worked. Let me get the hours again. So I think that we might need names here again. But it goes a little quicker.
So your video recording don't have the screen share.
Okay, I'll fix that. So here. There we go. Thanks for reminding me. All right, so now we're trying to update the team equity. So this is team equity for the recruitment commission as a team. So you come in here and we copy our total hours. We click on overall half year. And then here we have the total hours worked. So Wahoo's not here, so that's 0. I have 5.75. Oh, right, that's not right. It's this one here. Oops. So I was looking at the total hours for everybody as opposed to total hours per person. So it's going to be here are the hours and here's the person. So, and then we go over to overall half year and then we add people. So I'm working potentially around 1.5. Charles is not here. So we get to 0. Zilu is working 1.5 hours. Albina is working 1.3 hours and Lucy 1.45. All right, so then in addition, when you're doing the team equity, you do the hours not paid. And eventually we'll do this for network equity as well. So what that means is you do the actual equivalent based on pay. So volunteers or people doing equity only would get the most value. And this is the value equivalent in hours per person. So you take the value equivalent in hours, and then that would go here. Oh wait, I need to do it twice. Here it is. Whoops,
15 minutes on that, Jay. We spent 15 minutes.
Okay, well, we're almost done. So we have myself, Albina, Zilu, and Lucy. So the thing to understand, and then these people didn't work at all. So here you can have the totals, and here is the percentages. I'm not sure exactly what the percentages mean, but they add up to 100%, so that is good. Oh wait, but we do need to add in Lucy. 0. Okay, so this can't be right. So N3, we have to add E3, H3, N3. So we still need to add Q plus this one. And then for here, we need to add in that one. And then if we drag these all down, it should update the totals. But it's at 85% because we're missing Lucy. So we have to drag everything down for Lucy as well. So this is all stuff that you guys should be able to do to keep our team equity updated. So now see how it goes to 100%? So now this one should be 100%. The fact it's not 100%, we can make it orange or yellow or whatever. The question is, why isn't it 100%? Quarterly to totally total. So it seems like U11. What is U11? So this is the quarterly total in hours. I see. So here's the totally quarterly in hours, and this is the totally quarterly. This would be B15. Oh no, B11. L15. L15. Oh, it is copying over here. I mean, it seems like it should be correct. So I'm not sure why it's off.
How many minutes should you spend on that?
We can stop if you don't want to learn about the team equity. You want to stop?
Just 2 minutes.
Let's complete it.
We've never gone over team equity before, so it just needs to get, we see this is work that needs to get done so that we are updated on our team equity.
Okay.
So anyways, I can skip this. We can cover this 85% later, but basically you just need to confirm that all the percentages are right. But either way, this gets us our totals, which does add up to 100%. So these are correct. So what you have here is you have the actual power. So the power is how much power does each person have. You can see Wahoo's total is down here because she has to donate this part of it, and this is individual ownership. Whereas this is while she was a volunteer and donating all of her value. So power is more important than value earned because power is basically like your contribution. All of us are here and contributing, and that's more important than how much money we make. The money we actually make is less important, but it's still value. So in relationship to value, if you're paid, like if you have someone who's equity only and they work for an hour, they didn't get any money. So all their money's at risk, and they would get paid in the future based on the work and whether or not we actually succeed. But if you are paid up front, let's say you get, $3 an hour, $5 an hour, whatever it is, then that would be subtracted from your total value. So this is the percentage of hours that were not paid, which is very different calculation in relationship to whether or not you attended at all. So does that make sense in terms of the difference between the power and the value earned?
Yeah.
So the more money that you're paid up front, the less equity that you get in the long term, and the less money you're paid up front, the more equity you get in the short term to represent your value. Okay? So any questions on the team equity? Cool. And we'll be doing percentage hour value in other things like network equity as well. But this is the first time I finally got it all set up, and it's a little bit more complicated because on each one you have hours worked and hour value not paid. But overall, they're both very important to have clear in terms of our, especially team equity is the most important, because team equity is where all of the power lies for decision making, and then also it's where all of the value in the actual organization lies, is in the teams. All right, so I think we're done. Anything else on this before we move on?
We can move on.
Yeah.
So I think we're all done with that. So I think we're doing our, I guess we could wait for the full moon to do the weekly check-in. What do you think?
The full moon, we just need to spend less.
Okay. So desired outcome. You guys want to go through the prioritization worksheet, or do you want to just go to desired outcomes? I'm fine just going to desired outcomes. But,
Desired outcomes.
Okay. So do it have any desired outcomes? Get through it. Oh. Cool. So get through session quickly so we can focus on full moon. Also, I think it's good to note that team equity is part of team building. Like, the more we understand of the value that we're getting and that we have shared ownership and shared value, it helps build the team. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I think it's good to spend the time.
Building team how now?
What?
How do you build a team?
Because as you understand that you have ownership and you have power in the organization and you're getting equity and value, it gives you a sense of investment. You're an investor. So that makes sense. You're investing your time, energy into the team. So does anyone have any desired outcomes, or maybe it's like some updates or something? Do we have any recruitment coordinators? Should we go through coordination, or? We could present the we could go over self-engagement. Does anyone have a recruitment responsibility?
Yeah, what about internal setup? Recruitment commission setup.
I was updating the self-engagement processing doc for paid and unpaid worker. I was updating that, and it still remains the Google group we need to create for MBT's test 2.
Okay, I missed all of that, what both Albina and Zilu said. So if you guys can write it down or say it again.
Zilu can go on, Zilu.
Okay, he was asking, is there any responsibility for the recruitment? So I was working on self-engagement processing doc and updating with the links. The email groups created for future opportunities. I'm not sure if there is any group for MBT's test 2, so I need to clear up that.
Okay, so how about this? How about we review our recruitment session notes? So if we go through the recruitment work session that we had, we get updates from the 2 buddy teams. So there was me and Zilu, and there was Albina and Lucy, and so we could each update each other on what we did, and then we could go through the self-engagement and anything else that comes up from that. How's that sound?
That sounds good. For us, we worked on the voting form.
Can someone link? Oh, wait. We're not going through it. Oh, do you want to talk about the voting form? Oh, can we do results from voting form?
Not really. I didn't even check if people have voted on that. But I'll just check on it and make it there.
Okay. If we can get the link for the recruitment work session notes, that would be helpful. All right. So I think we are. I think we're done. I'm not sure if I voted, but we can do it. Oh, here it goes. So any other desired outcomes or focus of the meeting?
Ping.
Thank you, Lucy.
Just 1 second, ping or what?
I know ping is just a check and no 5 seconds on pings, just in the background.
Okay.
So does anyone have any other desired outcomes or topics? All right, let's move on then. So it looks like we have agreement. No.
You may just want to know how far you on recruitment and the priorities, responsibilities that are prioritized that need to get done.
So we want to learn how far we have gotten and what the priorities are to move on, right? Is that what you said?
Yes, and what you should do in step 1 to move forward.
Okay, so overall, like, this is a really good desired outcome. So this is like what Lucy just said is like a perfect example of a desired outcome of what we want to get out of the session. Learn where we are, what we've gotten done so far, what are our priorities moving on. It's perfect outcome. So, all right. So any other objections to our desired outcomes and focus? All right, I think we're good on that. So let's go on to scheduling. So we want to try to get through this as quickly as possible. So we're probably going to wrap up around maybe 4:15. Moon Apogee. So Monday, March 4th is the next recruitment commission for the ambassadors. And then on the Moon, Perigee is March 19th, like another commissioners meeting. So that sounds good. And then, of course, we have the full moon right after this. Full moon is, what is it, like 4.5 hours or something like that? You know? It's coming up really soon. That's for sure.
About 6 hours. Yes.
5.5 hours?
5.5 years.
Cool. All right, so let's take a 30-second stretch, and then we can go through everything else.
Stretch is only 5, is it not 5 seconds?
30-second stretch. 30 seconds.
30 seconds. 30 seconds is over.
Okay. So for MBE and plasma, I mean, I think we can go over that during our full moon, but I can't think of anything related to recruitment at this time. Anyone else? Does anyone have any proposals? All right, so vibes issues like Wahoo did send a email. So there is a responsibility to create an email list for ABS or ASB, right? And so this is an email list with Jay and I believe Albina is our representative and Wahoo for communications with Wahoo. So this is a important responsibility that we need to get done. But unless Wahoo wants to schedule communication sessions, because she's the one who called it off, but we don't really have much else to do there. But I am going to respond to her email and set up the email list, and that needs to happen as soon as possible. Does anyone want to do some management on that? Give me a reminder or help out with it?
Okay, good.
Albina?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Anything else? Vibes, issues, situations? All right. Cool. So I think we're ready for our view up. Or not our view up, our
Pink.
nice. I think we're ready for our 1 minute for each item. This will be our group setup. All right. So group topics. So we have recruitment work session. We have the notes. So let's see what we're looking at here as far as some priorities go. So we have the recruitment stages we could review, or we could review stage 1. That sounds like a possibility. So review stage 1. There. Review goals, recruitment main session, from recruitment main session. Did anyone do that? I guess we did that. Step-by-step activity for new potential recruits, create self-engagement doc. We did that. Recruitment coordination setup. So this is that we didn't do, is we didn't do all this coordination setup. So we definitely want to see if we can get into that some more. So this is kind of these are pretty much the priorities from the next session or the previous session. And what about Albina? Let's see. Proposal for voting forms. So here's the voting forms. Proposals, HR board proposals. I don't think we have any proposals for HR board. I don't know if we need to do that. All of these were already decided a while ago, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Voting
So
form, proposal ambassador meeting. So it's just our previous meeting. There's only one meeting to go over for that. All right. So that looks good. So then self-engagement. Anything else for the meeting notes? So for self-engagement, we should have the link in here somewhere. Did anyone see the link? I think the link is in the job post. So I think that's all we have to do for self-engagement is just to review the self-engagement and where we're at with that. Anything else for that?
No.
And last but not least, voting form. So where is the link to the actual voting form results? Is it this one right here? Is this it?
Yes.
yeah, that one. Yes.
Okay. So let's add that.
But only 2 people got it.
Okay. So for this one, here's the self-engagement information doc. All right. Anything else on the voting form? Or are we ready to get started on the first topic?
I think we are ready to start. I don't know. Maybe now have something to make.
No, you need Jay and Lucy. You need to vote. It's only Zilo and me who voted on the proposal. So
Link to vote.
We can review proposal during the full moon.
Cool. All right, so we should vote on this now. So we take a minute to vote real quick, or we do that when we get to the voting form?
yeah, it can be done later. Immediately.
All right, let's just do it. We'll just do it soon. Okay, so
Okay, fine.
where are we? So now we're going to start with reviewing the work session. Let's do it here. Fine. Okay. Why do we start? Actually, I have a better idea. So we're going to review the work session. Let's start with an update. Who wants to update first? Which buddy team? You guys want to start, or should me and Zilu start?
You and Zilo.
Zilo is not here.
Oh, actually the power. His power might have run out or something. Oh, okay. So me and Zilu. Me and Zilu had a really good session. We spent most of our time focusing on the self-engagement process. But we didn't finish it. I think we might have gotten a little less than halfway, maybe like 40%, 45%. But we did go through the whole sort of like next step. So at the previous recruitment commission session, we went over our timeline. We went over the proposal to set up our timeline based on a 1 month timeline. And I believe we kind of organized that into, yeah, here's the overall timeline in the shortest, simplest way. So week 1 is posting and intake. Week 2 to 3 is the invitations to get everyone set up into stage 3. And then week 4, we finalize the main buddy teams and get the proposals to HR board. We certainly could do it quicker than that, but at least it gives us a little time.
Bing.
Thank you. So right now we're not ready to implement the timeline because we don't have the information ready to do it. So this is what is needed to be required in order to be able to activate the recruitment and initiate the timeline. We updated the job post has been updated. It could use some more review, but it's at 90%. We haven't even started updating the outreach post. So the outreach post does need to be updated. We also need to create volunteer self-engagement process for stage 2. But we did created the stage 2 self-engagement doc. So this is done, and as I said, I believe the self-engagement for general self-engagement for stage 2 is at 45%. So from there, you've got stage 2 IRT activation is 0%. Membership activation, maybe this is more like 5%. Same here, 5%. General future opportunities. Did you support communications? This is pretty much done. I would give this an 85% on the support communications. So that's good. Anyone engaged in direct self-implementation does not need to be invited. Update posts and intake communications. Primarily work is to get all of the links for the self-activation and links to information into the post and intake communications. Yeah, so this is where we're moving forward on this, and this is basically all this work. So I would say we do need to get another recruitment session set up. So we probably would want to do like, schedule for like Friday again, maybe. So that would be like a next step. All right, I think that's it for me.
So are we ready to post for a job?
No.
Job posting, you said 90%. What is remaining on that?
No, we're still not. Like everything has to be in the green before we post.
Okay.
So all of stage 1 and stage 2 self-engagement needs to all be ready and prepared before we even start posting. Because the whole point, to go through the goal again, the goal of the timeline is that one of the most important parts of recruitment is that once we post, we quickly engage the new potential recruits instead of what we usually do is post and do nothing and then email them 2 to 3 months later. All right, so the idea is that
Let's take 30-second breath.
Does anyone want to do the breath?
Yeah. Breath.
You want to give it a try?
Someone to do that.
Do you want to try it, Lucy, or do you want me or Albina to do it?
I don't know.
Albina, do you want
Okay,
to do it?
can do it.
Okay.
Yes, let's exhale together. We inhale, then we exhale together.
Cool, thank you. So again, the goal of the timeline is that one of the most important parts of recruitment is that we post and then quickly engage. So I think one of the problems with our recruitment is that we aren't engaging the new potential recruits. We post and we get a bunch of emails, and then we don't email them and engage them for sometimes many months. So right now we have a huge list of 100 emails, but if we email them all, they all either already found jobs or just forgot about us, right? So the bottom line is that we shouldn't even post until we actually are ready to follow up with the post. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So then we post and then we immediately do intake. So it's posting, immediate intake, and then do invitations within a week later, right? So there's no way we can do the timeline unless we're prepared to go through and actually do all the work of the timeline, which means that everybody knows everything and knows what they need to do to be able to get the work done before we even post. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Cool. So for all of this, for the adding the stage 2, we want all this to be 100%, or not 100%, but all green. And then from there, we are going to need to do verification for everything. So there is another one here, which is there's going to be a verification spreadsheet, everything that must be complete before. So there is a verification spreadsheet that needs to be created so that we can easily and quickly verify everything to make sure that we're ready. So we want to schedule it again for Friday. So that's a responsibility. Yeah. If anyone wants to, should we just do that? Is everyone available for Friday Andromeda?
Yeah, for me, I am.
Lucy, are you available for then, or? So this would be a responsibility to add to the schedule and send out reminders. All right, so I think that's it.
When is going to schedule for that?
Friday at Andromeda.
Okay.
Cool.
Right.
So Lucy and Albina, I think it's your turn. I think me and Zilu, I think I'm done giving an update on what we were working on.
For us, we did the voting form proposals.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have much time to go through the plans. But on the plans, we have overall plan updated, ORC plan. We need IRT plan and training recruits team plan, recruitment support plan. I think we have like 6 plans. We just need to go through it. But since we need to complete on stage 1, like we just have to go and focus on step 1 to make everything green so that we move forward. On voting form and plans.
Okay, sounds good. So anything else you want to add?
No.
Cool. All right, so we got our updates from the work session. It sounds like another next step is the to review and update the plans. Okay.
Yes.
So that would be another responsibility as well as next step. Awesome. Okay, so I think is there anything else on our reviewing our session from last week? All right, so now let's go through the self-engagement process. I want to just vote real quick. Oh man, I'm really tired. Certifying results, sounds good, sounds good. Step back, yes. Initiate month, yes. Cool. All right, so self-engagement process. So this is a branded document, and we eventually become a website. So pretty much, you know, all of our docs are eventually going to become websites, but this one is a top priority one. So this would be one of the first things that anyone looks at when we recruit them. So the two primary docs are the About doc. So there's the About doc, which will also be just our website, and there'll be like a main normal website for various parts of the network that will link into the recruitment system. And but this one will be the next doc that people would click on if they want to get involved. So this is called the Stage 2 Self-Engagement Process. And the Stage 2 Self-Engagement Process is split up into different branches of the recruitment system. So one of the branches is the paid and unpaid workers, right? Another branch is volunteers and equity-only workers, right? So each of those are technically separate branches of recruitment and are addressed and have a slightly different process. The processes are similar, but they're different. There are 6 steps to the engagement process, and just so you remember, every system is made up of processes. So within a system, you have multiple processes, and every process is made up of
images on our doc.
Say again?
Pictures. On our doc.
What?
Is someone which doc?
The one we are using at the top.
At the top.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I guess we can just take off.
These are just people for influential. Like, how can they do? I cannot see.
Well, we can just take off the. We can just take off the editing. So that we can let them comment for a little while.
Now they're saying that in future we'll lose the information easily. Can we have a limit of sharing our doc?
No, we're never going to lose any information because every edit is saved. But yeah, we don't need to share even after we do notes. We can make them unshareable. But either way, the point is that if you can just delete it and then we make it that they can't share, so it's super simple. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anyways, let's get back to where we were, which is the stages. All right. So there's 6 steps. Again, this is for paid and unpaid workers, and this is for the self-engagement process. So of the 6 steps, I guess we can just start going through them, and they're all pretty straightforward. So think about it in the point of view of a new potential recruit, someone who's brand new. And again, this is all for self-engagement so that they don't have to talk to anyone. They can just do this directly themselves and basically run their own recruitment. So the step 0 would be to read the posts and information about us, right? So basically, there's no way they can get to stage 2 self-engagement process without reading the post. And we added to all our posts the information about the process. And then we also added how long each of these takes in terms of the actual amount of effort it takes to get involved. For this, we want to link the stage 2 self-engagement process for volunteers. So this is something that needs to be completed. Step 1 is to fill out the intake form. So it takes maybe like 2 to 10 minutes to fill out the intake form. Also because they're doing self-engagement, they need to remember to jot down or write down their requested pay rate, or at least have the estimate so that they are able to do their main buddy team proposal. And here's the link to the intake form. And this link will have to be updated each round of recruitment. So then afterwards, you fill out the intake form, and they can either continue with the stage 2 self-engagement or they can just wait. And we will contact them for stage 3 if they come to stage 3, if they get into stage 3, right, and are invited. But they can also move on to stage 2, and it explains here that they can skip to step 6, which is main buddy teams, if they wanted to. So you can skip directly to step 6 and focus on your budget proposal, or they can do step 2 through 5 as well. Obviously, we don't want to waste people's time. So if they want to just wait till stage 3, they will have, they will know that they are in the top candidates in the rankings, the higher rankings, so that they're not wasting their time. So that's pretty much the information for step 1. Step 2 is getting engaged and involved in the self-engagement support. So we created a new email group as well as a Skype group. And both the email group and the Skype group allow people to communicate to us about all of these steps. So step 0 through 6 for stage 2. So if people have questions about self-engagement, they would do that on this email group or on the Skype group for self-engagement. And then they can also email us directly. If someone could get the email, the recruitment email, the primary recruitment email from the main recruitment doc, that would be helpful. Or it might even be on the investor relations doc. Any questions about the self-engagement support? So we would be managing that. So when people contact us, we would post. And after we post, it's possible people could immediately and directly contact us about getting help with their self-engagement. So with self-engagement, you don't really want to be directly helping them, but they might have questions about how to do the steps and get into the communications. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Cool. Any other questions about step 2?
So you mean engagement supporting those new recruits?
Yeah. So if you think about it, so step 0 is just them reading the post. Step 1 is filling out the intake form. Step 2 is getting help with step 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right? So step 2 is like, okay, here is a communication form to talk to us as the workers for recruitment so that you can get support in the self-engagement process itself. Does that make sense? Because someone might not understand step 3. They're like, what is step 3? How do I even get started with this? How do I join an email list or get involved in something? I don't understand step 4. I don't understand step 5. So they might just have questions, and then we can answer their questions on the support group, and they might even be able to help themselves. So if maybe 3 or 4 people got on the self-engagement support group, they could help themselves to figure it out together, as opposed to by themselves. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we are at the top of the hour. We need to take a break for 5 minutes.
All right, so let's take a 5-minute break, and when we come back, we can get into step 3.
Okay. Break is over.
Yes, I'm back.
I think still wait for Jeff.
Okay.
Ndio yako tu ananyamaza.
Bana, tunafaa kupumzika. Unaona 6 hata iko mbali. Hebu niambie. Class yako ni
I don't like these pictures this guy putting on the note album.
I don't know how we are going to do. Every time I create a document, you can't stress.
Let's wait for Joe. You need to finish at least early.
Yeah. Okay.
No, the pictures look like for Aibu.
They're still there?
No.
All right. So,
sorry guys, I was lost my internet.
Oh, nice, you're back though. It's great. So, Zilu, we're currently in the stage 2 self-engagement process.
Yes. Okay.
So we already went through step 0, 1, and 2. We're now on step 3.
Okay.
So for step 3 is independent recruitment team. So it's important to note when we're giving people support information, step 3, step 4, and step 5 are skippable. You can skip them and go directly to step 6. You can also do step 4 and then go back to step 3. Remember, it says about how much time it takes for each one. Independent recruitment team takes the most amount of time. So this, if you decide to join the independent recruitment team, it could take 1 to 10 hours per week of time. So this is a considerable commitment. So some people just might not be interested and they skip this. There's a couple things here we need to do. There's going to be an entire IRT self-engagement process. So we need to create a doc for this as well. So basically, anyone who wants to get involved in the independent recruitment team can do it on their own without having us have to do it.
How many minutes are we going to spend? I think we need not to prolong the meeting for today.
Okay, I mean, we can stop this. I mean, basically, we have everything for step 3 except for the IRT engagement process doc. This needs to be completed. The membership.
For membership there.
The membership just needs the link to the email group. So we just need a link to the email groups.
Okay, do we have the membership group or we need to create a new group for membership?
We're creating a new group for membership for the email group.
Okay.
But do you know how to change the ownership?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know how to change the ownership.
Just make it sure that it's join all. Make sure that that it's join all and then it's public. Okay.
Okay, sure.
So everyone on the web can join. Oh, also here you added the Mars session. So this is the next Mars session, which is August 26th.
Here's the link. The membership rights information.
Great.
And link in the bottom of the step, the detailed instruction for membership activity. These are the same, or you are asking for different links? This one and this one.
This is going to be a different link. So this link is more of like self-engagement.
I didn't get that actual link. I have the same link.
So this is self-engagement. So this one needs to be created. So this is low priority, so we could skip it for now since we're on hard stop. Because no one really needs to engage with the membership except for on during the Mars session.
And future opportunities Google group created. MBT stage 2 need to create.
So I believe there's already a Google group for future opportunities. So did you create this or did I create that?
Yeah, I create this newly.
Okay, so I'm not sure if we need it, but whatever. In this one, we still need to add, change the ownership.
I changed by your name, FQNJ at the.
You added it. You added it already.
Yes.
Perfect. All right. So then, obviously, we need to do the main buddy team stage 2. This all needs to be done, and then this basically just gets cut. I think we just get rid of that. I don't think we need that. So, are there any other questions about the self-engagement? So on Friday, we scheduled for Friday, Zilo. Are you going to be available Friday, Andromeda?
Andromeda. We are supposed to do on Cobalt or Sonic, while we are switching on Andromeda. The proposal for the last
Cobalt, let's do Cobalt and Sonic for taxes. Like tomorrow, we need to do taxes.
Okay.
Tomorrow, maybe Wednesday would be better for taxes. So I would say Wednesday was better for taxes, and Friday we could do some more recruitment as well. But you know.
Okay. I will be available on Andromeda. No problem.
Cool. So the only other thing I'll say on this is that, you know, for the main buddy team process, we can just link the main buddy team info sheet and process, right? So this shouldn't be very difficult. We need to create new email groups and Skype groups for the stage 2.
Yes, we need to create maybe.
And then the actual main buddy team process is pretty simple. And the key thing here is that it's the same, right? So stage 2 main buddy team process and stage 3 is exactly the same. So basically, for stage 3, we go through exactly the same 6 steps, except for stage 3, we do the work. So for stage 2, it's the actual new recruit that has to do self-engagement, and they have to do all the work. Whereas in stage 3, we have to go through all of it and do the work for them and invite them. Okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right, so I think we're done with that. Any other questions on self-engagement?
No question.
All right, so what is, is anyone doing video indexing? What's going on with that? I thought we were doing video indexing, right?
I was supposed to do, but I was lost my connection. I will do, no problem. I will do.
Okay, it'd be good to have the section on,
yeah, I will do the section.
It would be good to have the section on the stage 2 so that we could have a video for stage 2 recruitment and add the video to the support link.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so I also want to remind you, everybody, to do the table of contents. You got to click on the table of contents and push the button, and then it updates it. It's all active. So it looks like we're going on to the voting form, right?
Yeah.
Then it's working.
So is Zilo, did you get a chance? Did everyone vote?
Voting form, Albina was working on that. Albina, can you go for the voting forms?
Which on the proposals?
Mm-hmm.
Go through the proposal. Okay, next.
Can you bring the results there?
Yeah, on the notes. Okay, on the proposals, The proposal one was to certify results from the HR board voting. That time. It has, let me check the average a minute.
30-second breath.
6.8 average.
Can you do it, Albina?
Pardon?
15-second breath.
30-second breath. Let's take a breath.
The breath
Oh,
is only
breath.
the breath is only 15 seconds. 15-second breath.
15 seconds, okay.
Yeah, 15-second breath.
Albina, do you want to do it or do you want me to do it? Or is someone else
Yes,
want to try?
can we exhale together? We inhale together, then we exhale.
Perfect.
Yeah. So the second proposal was to certify results from the voting form on the previous ambassador meeting. 7.25.
So it looks
The
like
third one was,
it looks like all the proposals pass.
yeah.
Cool. So what we want to do is we want to write that down. So you should write down the proposals and then write down the name of each that passes and how much it gets. How many?
Yeah, can we move forward? I'll just copy
and then the proposal that we're going to go through would be to certify the results.
Okay.
So are you going to do this in the notes or? Oh yeah, there we go. Cool.
Yeah, I'm putting all of them in the notes.
So does anyone want to go through the proposal?
I think we had 4 proposals there.
Yeah, but there's only one proposal to certify the results. So the proposal is certify results, questions, concerns, objections.
I think the proposal already passed. Okay.
Well, no, we haven't gone through the proposal yet. So again, the proposal is to certify the results from the voting form. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Proposal to certify the result from the HR board.
This is not HR board.
Any objection?
This is not HR board, and we need to write it in the notes.
I think the proposal will be to certify the results from the previous votes.
So one of the things as a facilitator, whenever we are getting people voting on a proposal, you always read the proposal from the notes, so everybody's looking at the same thing. You don't just want to randomly make up a proposal. You want to read it from the notes, okay?
I'm reading here where you read the result, proposal 1, proposal 2. We should read from where now?
No, the proposal These are all of the old proposals that were in the voting form. Right? The proposal we're doing now is the actual proposal to certify the results from the
previous
voting form.
votes.
Well, no, I would make it more specific. From the ambassador meeting, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And the ambassador session.
Our all proposal were from ambassador meeting.
From the ambassador side, certify the results from the voting form, right? The ambassador session voting form. That makes sense? Like here, these are the results. These are the results of the voting form, and then we're voting right now to certify the results.
Yeah.
And since
So proposal to certify the result from ambassador session voting form. Any objection?
No, you can't skip to objections. You have to go through the
Any question, any concern, any objection.
Any concern?
Again, you have to go through the order. You do the questions, concerns, then objections. And it has to be in order, and it has to be correct every time. You can't skip anything. It has to be exact because it's...
So are we always having in order to
yes.
Start with the question, concern, and objection?
Always, yes. Questions, concerns, objections.
Okay. Okay, let me repeat. Proposal to certify results from ambassador session voting. Any question? Does anyone have a question?
No. No, I think it was clear.
Any concerns?
No.
Any objection?
Cool.
Then proposal passed by consensus.
Perfect. All right, great job. All right, so I think that we are we're done. So I think we could wrap up. Are there any questions on work responsibilities, tasks, next steps? Are ready to check out?
Maybe we can review for 5-minute review priorities, responsibility, 10 tasks, then we check out. Yes, for 5 minutes.
All right, so responsibilities. So did anyone do work? Did anyone do the work task? So
yeah.
Work priorities master was Zilu. So Zilu, did you do the work priority master? I don't see anything. See, this is blank. So you just did it. So that would be a policy problem. Zilu did not do the work priorities master. So here you have the Friday schedule time. So I mean, I would say overall, my personal take on it all is that we probably focus on taxes. You know?
Mm-hmm.
We need to get those taxes done. So between now and Friday, I mean, I don't know how much time I'm going to have to work on recruitment. So if someone else wants to work on something, they can, but I think that we're probably good for Friday. I'm going to continue to work on stage. I'm going to continue to work on
schedule also tomorrow.
tomorrow
Wednesday, Thursday.
For taxes. So tomorrow,
taxes.
Wednesday, taxes.
Yeah.
And Wednesday works better for me, but I may be available for Andromeda as well. And we just need to keep going for the 1099s.
Yeah.
What about later?
Wednesday, Thursday, Jay.
For taxes? Or recruitment?
No, not recruitment, taxes.
Okay. Wednesday, Thursday?
Thursday.
Yeah. The more the better. We just want
We
to.
love Zulu again. Zulu is not there.
Yeah, Zulu.
No.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday, is that okay, Jay?
Yeah, let's check in on Wednesday. Focus on taxes until Friday. Yeah, I mean, we can check in every day on taxes. And we'll be talking about taxes during full moon as well.
Yeah.
So
We'll be checking every day, but also we have to know Wednesday, Thursday. We schedule with him. Okay, focus on taxes till Friday. Okay, good.
The taxes are 1099s primarily. All right, I'm ready to check out.
Okay. I want to check out. I'll give the session 6. At least I have a clue, special on recruitment. I will focus on taxes, checking on taxes and schedule. Any other priorities that's coming up?
I think it would be good to review the taxes. I mean, to review the recruitment plan. Can you do that?
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Maybe start organizing the recruitment responsibilities. All right, Albina.
Also payroll. I want to do payroll double, triple verification.
Right. All right, Albina.
Yes, I give the session 6.5. And we'll be also focusing on taxes, schedule and reminders, and recruitment plans. Thank you.
All right. So I'm pretty tired. L2 night X. I give the session like, I don't know, 5 or 6. Well, maybe 5.75. I'm pretty out of it. I'm gonna be working on taxes. I'll also be doing some on the stage 2. The stage 2 recruit self-engagement. I think it's pretty important, so I'll try to get there. I'll also be working on mission within and other client work and stuff. So poco. But yeah, we'll check in again. It's just a few hours. I think it's like what, 3 or 4 more hours until the full moon. Check in again, and I'm gonna update the but I think we're done.
Yeah, you're done.
So we're finishing right on time. Except Zulu had a lot of dropped time. How much time did Zulu? What time left? He left like a half an hour ago, or?
Yeah,
Zulu spent like almost 1 hour. But because he was here for 30 minutes and he left again to come for less than 30, yeah.
Okay, so he was here for 1 hour.
Yeah, just here for 1 hour.
Awesome. All right, so then all we have to do is update for here. We would just put that for Zulu, he was only here for 1 hour. And then also we would update that, wait, this isn't correct.
Is it 1 hour?
You actually have to subtract the drop time, so it's so it's this one minus this minus that. So according to this, Zila was only here like a half an hour. Is that too little? Maybe he was that. So he was here 70.
I think I'll
Yeah, I think the actual hours
0.75.
Zila spent 75 minutes.
Well,
Not more than an hour.
I think it was 45 minutes.
Yeah, 40. Okay,
Okay,
I'll do the story then.
0.75. And then we can update his equivalent rate as well.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, see you later. Ciao.
Okay, see you.